it's the end of July and I'm rapidly approaching the Berlin Marathon, which is going to be September 25th. So this week what I've done is just been building on my aerobic base. So this morning's session was mainly an easy run, about 2 hours 20 minutes, and I threw in some marathon paced efforts. I wasn't going by time, it's going by heart rate. Yeah, went well, and now I'm just doing a 30ish minute shakeout run.
Apologies, I had a brain fog moment. A shakeout run is what you do before a race, and a cool down run is what you do post training or after race, and it helps clear out waste products such as lactic acid from your legs.
So I should be about roughly 90ish miles this week. It's just about making sure I've got a nice steady base, so when I start to do the marathon Pacific work, I've got something to refine. So, and the shoes of choice I'm wearing right now are the Allbirds Tree Flyer, although they are a tempo shoe in fairness, but because they're quite snappy and responsive, I wanted something with a bit more snap to help me, especially as I'm running on tired legs. I found that they've been really good for sort of short distance interval type things. I'll put the link into the show notes for my previous review of the shoes, and that'll give you a little bit more information to how I found them. It's been a good week, mostly easy running, and I've got some really exciting news. I've got a really cool project for the Berlin Marathon that I'm going to be shooting, so stay tuned. It's going to bring you a lot of value to the training, nutrition, not just from my advice, but I'm getting some pros involved, so it's going to be really good. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you, so stay tuned. I'm also going to share this episode some snippets from my podcast. I've had some really cool conversations with Jordan Thomas, who's an amazing content creator based in LA, and I've also got some cool content to share with you from Matt Fox, founder of Sweat Elite. We had a really good conversation. I'm going to put the links for both podcasts in the show notes.
But if you were interviewing yourself, what would you ask yourself? What would you want people to know about you?
Oh man, I would want to know or be interviewed about like how did you become you? What are the what are the series of events? Who are the people? What are the things that you read, or what are the things that you think about on a given day? Because I feel like you can learn so much about a person in terms of their responses to different things. Like what are the things that make them tick, in that type of way. For myself, like the single biggest influence in my life is my father. Um, and he's certainly the hardest person that I've ever had to like work for, but it's also one of the people that I know that love me the deepest. And it gives me such power, frankly, when I'm moving through rooms and things like that. Like I grew up fully validated, and so I do not anticipate or expect anyone, frankly, to love or care about me as much as my father and my general family. And it gives me such a freedom, because I'm able to just like move, do what I got to do, try to be helpful, try to do that. Oh, they don't like it. Okay, cool. I can move on. But my family loves me. And I mean, the other thing is like running for me is an amazing vehicle for getting ideas out.
No, I looked at the guests that you've had on, and I definitely would like to go back and listen to a few more of those, especially the one that you did with Nick Bester, who I'm actually at his house right now. And for those watching via video, I'm not sure if you put in the video up, all these medals in the background are his. They're not mine. No, I'm at his place now. And yeah, obviously we're both running Rotterdam in a couple of weeks. And it'd be good to chat a little bit about that because we're tracking to, I guess, run similar time, I think. So yeah, we can chat about anything.
Now, but like if you were asking yourself the question, or what would you want people to know, or what would you ask yourself if you were interviewing yourself?
What would I ask myself if I was interviewing myself? I think if it was to do with Sweat Elite, it would be what is the, where do you want this to go from here? And I actually get asked that quite a bit, and I like the question. And strangely, I I don't have the sort of probably the best answer for that. The current answer that I give people is, we want to be the number one running media company. How that's defined, you can define that a lot of different ways, but we want to be the media company that basically inspires, more runners than any other media company, and that informs, that educates. And I don't know if that's what we are right now. I guess we're probably in the top few, but that's really what I want to do. And I'm also very curious to expand, which we already have started to do, into triathlon and sprints, and really try and understand the videography, especially in those two sports, so that we can be a source of education and inspiration to people around the world in those two realms. Because one issue that you face with podcasting and videos is there's not an unlimited amount of professional athletes and coaches. In the business world, I listen to quite a lot of business podcasts. There's tens of thousands to maybe even hundreds of thousands of successful business owners that can jump on a podcast and they can talk for a while about their success and how they managed to build their business. In the running world, it's a lot smaller, as you've probably already thought about too. And once you sort of you speak to the top 100 or 200 athletes, you start to get to a point when it's like, okay, well, now I either do them again or I start to interview athletes at a slightly lower level. And that's the decision that you have to make. And with the video stuff, we decided to do a bit of both. We have done multiple videos with some athletes, and we've also started doing some videos with some athletes that are probably not quite at the very top level. But yeah, that is an issue that you face. So we want to continue producing content, and one way for us to expand further is to go into different realms, which is triathlon and sprints, because they're the two, I guess, the closest two realms with a similar overlapping audience in a way, especially triathlon. So that's probably the question that I ask myself, like, where is the end game here? Where would you love this to eventually get to? And I'm constantly thinking about that.